I'm David Reddy, and I'd like to announce that our 2021 Stewardship Drive has begun. Our theme for 2021 is We Are UUCT. UUCT is not the buildings or the land. The church is the congregation, the people, the community. But it's not just the people we see today on Zoom or from a distance. It's the people who came before, who started the church out of nothing. It's those who followed them and all of our own past efforts to build ourselves a place to be. And it's also our future selves and the people who will grow up here, those who will come next year, next decade, and beyond. Right now, we and the country are going through a harder, more uncertain time than most of us have ever seen. We'll need a strong community to help us get through it. UUCT's Stewardship Drive will run from now through November 1st. In the next day or so, you should receive an email or letter with your prior pledge amount and the 2021 pledge form. We'll be hosting congregational Zoom meetings soon as well. We know that for some people, this is not a time when increased giving is possible. We understand and we need you to remain part of our community. But if you can, please be generous to keep our church strong in the coming year. And now I'd like to introduce Russ Patterson, who will tell you a little bit about why he's donating to the church this year.
Hello, I'm Russ Patterson, and I've been a member of the UU Church of Tampa since 2005. I find this congregation very welcoming, and it's really nice to have good friends that we can socialize with right now on Zoom, but that's okay. I also find it really important that we support our congregation financially. The last several years, my wife, Candy Gill, and I have been increasing our pledge each year. And this year, we're going to be giving about 7% of our gross income to our church. It's really important that we all give as much as we can. As if you can't afford much, don't give much. If you can afford a lot, give a lot. But it's very important that we support our congregation and our church. We still have a music director. We still have an outstanding religious education director, and we also have to take care of our buildings and grounds, which doesn't come free. And if we do this pledge drive right, we'll be set up and be in good shape for when we finally are able to hire a minister. So thank you very much and enjoy the service today.
Good morning and welcome. Before we begin our service, let us take a moment to share in our stone ritual.
I place a stone for our joys. One for our sorrows. And one for our intentions for the coming week.
The UUCT care team follows up with congregants who are experiencing joys or sorrows. The care team also addresses needs of congregants. The care team can be contacted by email at careteam@uutampa.org. And now to our service.
Good morning. This is John and Cecilia Powers, and our chalice lighting words today are from Jessica Purple Rodella. Listen. Listen. Listen to silence. Listen to the wind. Listen to the stars. Hear trees. Dance. Dance to the beat of your neighbor's heart. Dance to the rhythm of your childhood dreams. Come, let us howl our hallelujahs. Come, let us pray and sing and celebrate. Come, let us worship together.
My name is Candy Gale, and I will be your convener for today. I have been a member here since 1993 and currently serve as the Vice President of the Board of Trustees. I welcome you to this virtual service from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tampa. Welcome to this opportunity to be together, to celebrate the joy, comfort, and sometimes the challenges that we face as a community. We come to this Unitarian Universalist congregation to learn more about being human. We learn how to listen, how to forgive, and how to grow in trust and compassion. You are welcome here as you are. If you are visiting, I hope you will take time to get to know us at a Zoom coffee hour that starts at 11:30 on Sunday mornings. I'll end with a quote by Mark Nepo. Still yourself and listen, and soon, in time, the mystery will begin to speak to you through its 1,000 disguises as life on earth.
Hello everybody again. Now we're singing number 21 in our great hymnal, For the Beauty of the Earth. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, are the gentle thoughts and love. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Our meditation today is called Grounding from Jess Reynolds. On my worst days, it is gravity I am most grateful for. The way the earth pulls at me from her core, yearns for me, keeps me pressed tightly against her surface. When my own core is hollowed out, when I have no more mass than a leaf dead on the branch, still, this is enough for the earth to find me. She reaches for what little I have and says, stay. Every meditation I have ever done begins by asking me to ground myself. This is not so much an action as it is an inaction. Surrender. A voluntary abandonment of my own edges and tidy packaging. Sit with me now. Press the soles of your feet back into the ground you sprang from. Feel the weight of your body and know that it is glorious. You are born of soil and sun, and all the heaviness of the earth is a call to you. The earth is reaching for you. Reach back. Our meditation hymn today is Listening by Leah Morris.
I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My ears are wide open, my eyes are now open to see what I may be. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening. In this moment of Spirit, speak through me. I can hear the voices of all my kin. I'm listening, singing. I'm listening, the tweeting and howling into the wind. My ears are wide open, and oh, the joy. My eyes are wide open, oh, the love to see and hear for you and me. Oh, I'm listening in this moment of silence. I am listening. I hear Spirit speak through me. Did you sleep well? Can I ask you a favor? Can you go and push with Jake for 5 minutes while I finish? You see I'm doing some worky stuff.
For 5 seconds?
5 minutes. You'll see how long. It's not very long.
How many seconds is 5 minutes?
Well, it's 300 seconds, but you don't have to count to 300. I'll just be in there to get you when I'm all done, okay?
So who's gonna have to count to 300?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Our speaker today is Erin Powers. She has served at UUCT for 8 years as the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. Erin lives with her spouse, John, his mother, Claire, and their 2 youngest children, Sophie and Cece. Their oldest, Olivia, is venturing into adulthood in New Jersey, where she attends Montclair State University.
Hello, my name is Erin Powers, and I am the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tampa. And today I am pleased to be your worship leader. This month's theme is deep listening. It's become especially poignant with our upcoming elections and continued uprisings. We are seeing the effects of not listening to the needs of each other, the needs of the people. Martin Luther King Jr. said that rioting is the language of the unheard. And it's true that collectively, we are not great at listening and truly hearing each other. As someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, wedged between millennials and Gen X, much of what we were taught was to avoid tough subjects, be colorblind, and just be nice. And so, a whole generation grew up largely ill-equipped for deep listening. Comfort and ease was prioritized over necessary and uncomfortable conversations. But hope is not lost. There is so much hope to be found. Many of us are working diligently to learn how to discuss tough subjects with love and respect. We're learning to listen to those most affected by the isms of today. And we're taking action to create a future in which we listen to each other and we trust each other. There are oodles of books and online resources for learning how to be a better listener. But one of my favorite teachers is the natural world. For almost any problem, nature has already found a solution. But for us to solve the puzzle and find the answer, we must practice listening. Listen deeply and pay close attention. The answers are plentiful and readily available, but given only to those who pay careful attention and listen deeply. Permaculture is a system of living centered around listening and paying attention to nature, to ourselves, and to our place within this interconnected web of existence. While it is sometimes believed to be just about gardening, it is more than that. It is about creating structures and systems that are self-sustaining and support each other. Self-sustaining and supportive for the environment and the people who live in it. Knowing how much wisdom there is to be gleaned from the natural world, the first principle of permaculture is to observe and interact. To not only listen, but get involved in the workings of nature. To more fully notice our place in the interconnected web. Permaculture invites us to watch, learn, and then try. And then try again if you fail. For nature teaches us that there is no true failure, just another opportunity to try again. Listen deeper, and search for a better solution. Other principles of permaculture can succeed only through deep listening. Listening to ourselves, to those further along on the path, and to our surroundings. Through listening to ourselves, we discover that which brings us happiness and contentment, that which fuels and feeds us, and that which sustains us. Deep listening and permaculture also invite us to remove anything that does not support these goals. Eliminate the background noise, the clutter, the distractions, the ideas and preconceived notions that get in the way of progress and growth. Growth for ourselves and our communities. Permaculture also reminds us that these things take time. You will not create a habit of deep listening overnight. But you can create a habit and a culture of deep listening by starting small. Spend 10 minutes outside, just sitting and observing. Put phones away during meal times and when in meaningful conversations. Give that which is in front of you your full attention. Adrian Marie Brown is the author of Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds. It's one of my favorite books. Her work and writings on change, how to make it, how to live within it, are all based on creatures and phenomena from our natural world. She talks of mycelium and ants, ferns and fractals, wavicles and starlings, and the resilience of dandelions. She shares the wisdom of biomimicry. This is the practice of finding existing systems in nature that solve a current problem. This practice of looking to nature for solutions has always existed. When we lived much closer to nature and relied more heavily on understanding the patterns and the seasons, we were much more adept at listening to the wisdom from the natural world. We were also much more adept at manipulating nature in ways that did not have long-lasting negative effects. A striking difference to many practices today that drain our natural world of resources past the point of renewal. Many of us were taught in school that indigenous peoples lived in the wild. But deeper study and research shows otherwise. Native peoples alive today know otherwise. These lessons of give and take, of balance and care for all, and of deep listening are woven into the tapestry of Native American culture and history, but often left out of the education offered to our non-Native children. To fully educate ourselves as non-Natives, we must dig deeper, look beyond the dominant narrative, and spend time listening to the stories that hold the history of the first peoples on our continent. Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. We can honor the lives of Native Americans from past to present by listening to their voices and learning from their stories. One of the most striking differences between the ways of our modern society and Indigenous peoples and nature is the focus on the collective over the individual. Ants and bees work collectively to ensure the community is cared for and carries on. Flocks, herds, and schools of animals move as one to save as many as possible. Striking out as an individual is almost certain death. As humans, our intellect often tells us that we can do it all ourselves. And we often can for a time. But we are social creatures by nature. We need each other for support, for wisdom, for sharing the work of living, and sharing the joys and sorrows of being human. The idea that needing each other is weakness is a bold-faced lie. We are dependent on each other. We are an interdependent people. We can learn from trees and mycelium, fungus and mushrooms, how our interdependence makes us stronger. Mycelium and trees form a literal World Wide Web underground. The roots and tendrils that spread from both form an entire information sharing network right beneath our feet. Together, they share information, nutrients, and provide support so that each may grow as strong and healthy as possible. They do this by listening to each other and being responsive to each other. There are no reactive, angry arguments in this web. Instead, there is a collective sharing of resources and a balancing of needs. And when a tree falls, mycelium begins the work of breaking down the wood to enrich the soil. This cycle of give and take, of mutual support and care, has sustained our forests for eons. What would change for us if we prioritized the same collective care for each other? Listening deeply is not a quick process. Cycles in nature can take years or more. It takes time and practice. And we've been socialized to want things quicker and faster. We sometimes want to be experts right away. The pandemic has forced many of us to slow down. And in that slowing down, we are noticing more. We are hearing more. More about ourselves and each other. Nature has become a place where we can be out of our homes and still be fairly safe. I have been exploring my yard more than ever and discovering hidden treasures. As our weather turns cooler and we begin to venture outside more, I invite you to slow down, look closer, listen deeper, and revel in all the wisdom that our natural world has to offer.
To support the UUCT with your generous financial gifts, please go to the UUCT website and click on the Click Here link to donate. It will take you to our donation page, and you can securely make your donation to the church. Thank you.
are part of this universe.
We are in this universe.
We are in this universe.
But perhaps more important than both of those facts
Perhaps more important than both of those facts
is that the universe is in us.
is that the universe that's in us.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Turn off the fire.
Everybody join with me in singing number 1064 in your hymnals, Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens and our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sky before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
In closing, we are thankful that you have chosen to spend your time with us today. Please join us for a Zoom coffee hour for conversation. Sorry, but you'll have to get your own coffee for a bit longer until we get to meet again at the Dome. Our hope is for you that the coming days will be filled with kindness, wisdom, and love. Our final words were written by Eric Williams. May the firmness of the earth be yours. May the flow of the water be yours. May the freedom of the air be yours. May the fierceness of the fire be yours. May all the gifts of this life, the below and the above, be with you now and remain with you always. So be it.